Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we continued on with our Amber Void Crusade and discovered how the difficulty actually gets applied to missions. Man, we don't have a lot of those keys. A little alarming. But might as well just start knocking these out. We'll start with, honestly, we'll just start with the toughest one. I'll make myself suffer. Ah, God, I'm not looking forward to that. I'll just run at them and burn them.
Here, preying on the weak and using craven tricks against the defenders of mankind. Perhaps we should find their leaders and give them a fair share of their own medicine.
So, if you haven't been following gaming lately, there's been a rumor going around that Sony's looking to do a remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn. Either a remaster or a remake, which I think is entirely spurred on by The Last of Us doing that. And I really hope it's not true, because that is the biggest and most gratuitous waste of money I've ever seen. Like, The Last of Us, all they did was change a little bit just to conform with the story changes they had done in the sequel, and then they just made environments worse. Ruin some of the flow and just the environments. And then they're like, oh, we also added accessibility options. And my first thought was, really? You charged $70 for accessibility options. That is a very bold strategy. Not the kind of tactic I would take, but I'm not them. What? What the hell was that? Okay, so that's an experience. Let's get a bubble going. I don't even have a consumable to handle that. That is some wild damage. I guess it's gonna be keep moving at all times and hopefully not die again like that. That was stupid. Gotta wait for my cooldown though. But back to the game stuff. Just there's so many Sony IPs that they could remaster or remake. Like, I'd love to see a remaster. We'll just say remaster. Remake can be rolled into it if needed. Of Resistance Fall of Man. That was a fun game. Fun franchise. They could do Mag, they could do SOCOM, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Siphon Filter. Just trying to think off the top of my head. Twisted Metal. They're planning to do a Twisted Metal show. For the love of God, stay away from me, dude. What is that attack? He looked at me and I disintegrated. Yeah, I'm literally just taking damage. I guess I just have to keep applying damage to him and hope I can kind of counter whatever he's putting out. But it is so much damage. What is that? I don't even have room to flee, realistically. I just grab the loot box and try to dip. Yeah, I got the loot. I don't care then. He can hide in there all he wants. I am not fighting that.
Inquisitor, now or never.
I don't care, 150% damage, that... You can't tell me that was a fair fight, no matter what. Like, the rest of these fights are like, okay, I take damage, you deal damage. You know, we're trading. But that was just straight up, if I look at you and you get caught in the epicenter, you die. Yeah, moments like that, this game kinda... it fails the Diablo test of... can you feasibly survive fights? Like, yeah, maybe if I had all the survivability stuff, like, oh, once every so often you can auto-revive and all this, but that wouldn't have saved me. I would have needed multiple seconds of invulnerability. And he had way too much DPS. I didn't have nearly enough still. I guess I'm gonna have to definitely go into the... like the health tree and everything. Especially for the, what was it, the energy shield efficiency. I'm gonna have to definitely go for that. Just so I have that extra chance to live. God, that's just insane, though. Oh, cool. Or I might... see, I don't want to do suppression. Because it's like, oh, 150 points of suppression. That's not a lot. It really isn't. I'm thinking just keep going with the high warp heat unhinged build. Because it seems like as long as I can engage the enemy, I can just drop enough stuff to put me in unhinged. And from there I can kind of survive. So that's the... well, as I say it, I can get rid of my extra shield here. Realistically. If I want to, I can toss that out the window. And that still gives me enough stuff to survive. The concern there is that I'm relying... I can use gear then. But some gear, like... some of it's not going to help. Oh, a refractor field? So I replaced a spell with an item that does the same thing. I think in the end, the biggest thing is going to be finding gear or making gear with slots. That's where I think this build has kind of capped out, is it's now a lot more gear reliant. Which is fine. You know, that was bound to happen at some point. I just prefer it not to be just a flat wall of like, hey, you're like 4 or 5 levels above you, become floor. Like, damn, that's a little sudden, don't you think? I do think this would be a cool, like... I've said it time and again, a Souls-like game, essentially Remnant from the Ashes. You could even do what they have in this with, you know, weapons having multiple attack modes. Instead of different toggleable abilities, it's just your ability is just an alt fire. At least the chaos spawn goes down pretty fast. But man. Like, I mean, if I lose this mission, I'm not too broken up over it. Do wish all the suppression damage I was doing meant something, because he's at, like, no suppression consistently. And the game's just like, I guess we kind of slow down his attack pattern. But he's not, you know, staggered, he's not stumbling. Like, there's some enemies I've been able to just chain stagger.
Much worse.
Support beacon in range.
Really? Oh, okay, I guess. It kind of makes sense how they're making that the middle boss, but also it doesn't make sense because I think even if you drew line room to room, they're equal distance. If not, the middle boss that I just killed was even a little closer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find, like, a psalm or something that gives me suppression gain on hit. Because otherwise I have to sit here behind cover and recover it quick. Which is fine, you know. I'm able to do it, I'm alive. I just can't do it in combat. And I think one of the things was, like, you get some bonus when you're in cover. I'm like, I'm never getting in cover mid-fight. Once again, something I've said before, these enemies do not afford you the luxury of cover. They either destroy it, or they're just so large that they don't care. Or they have explosives. You know, it's like using cover in D&D. It doesn't really do you much good. I could do with a better staff at this point, but I don't think I'm gonna get anything for the foreseeable future. At least until maybe, and I stress maybe, we get a reward from completing this. Because that's 2 lives down, but we have 5. 7, but we lost 2, so now we're down to 5. So I can definitely make my way to an exit and finish this. It does suck having to end it, but I get it. Yeah, that 5-level difference just really hurts. But we'll be fine. Just a little inconvenience is all. One thing I noticed is there's been no, like, trash mobs. You notice that? Usually we get, like, some flesh hounds or whatever that just run in, die in a fraction of a second, and I just get all my shields back, or I could just nuke them with, you know, triangle or circle, and there just hasn't been any enemies like that to afford me that benefit. It's all been tougher enemies. Which I get. It just kind of sucks because I'd really like some garbage to get my shields back off of. Alright, what are we thinking? Another Skull Taker or one of the robots? Yeah, another Blood Slaughter. Hey, and speaking of trash mobs, I like how the update also didn't fix the blinking pillar there. I guess those warp pillars are supposed to flash like that. Not the greatest, you know, artistic design. I think that Weird Vein staff came from it. because I would have picked it up before. So I think that literally is them, like, it decaying its health, which would be so dumb. Like, that's such a bad way of denoting, because it's not even supposed to be like a tangible entity. It looks so gross just blinking, because it looks like a graphical error. Ah, so we found the edge of your aggro range. I am more than willing to exploit that. What's kind of irritating too is I'm just sitting here, just hitting him continually. Like I said, no suppression. He's just like, oh yeah, let me just ignore that. I might have to tweak some of the stuff to be like armor breaking or something. Wait, does he heal off fire or something? Because I was watching his health regen, unless he's... No, because he wasn't even siphoned or like stuck to me at that point. He's just regenning for the sake of regenning. Or because he's like at the edge of aggro range. Yeah, I think it's because he's at edge of aggro range and they don't want you just cheesing the fight. Well, that's too damn bad. I'm gonna cheese it if I want to.
He deserved worse. Much worse.
Don't blame me for you programming an aggro range on an enemy and I exploit it. I guess the question there is, what would I I mean, I know what I'd rather have between an enemy who summons enemies or an enemy that heals. I'd rather deal with low-tier summons, because I can just beat them to death, instead of having to deal with a boss who's just going to continually cheat. Well, like I said, at least this is the toughest one, because I'm not going to do that, like, bottom left mission. If I can do the 2 Supreme missions, I'll take it. 2 out of 3 isn't bad. And I mean, as it stands, we're making progress. Went from failing a Void Crusade to right now not failing it, but getting close to completing it. That's a marked improvement. Yeah, keep summoning more trash for me to siphon HP and shields off of. Oh, but it's another one of these. Never ending, huh? Yeah, I don't like that it can target me at my maximum aggro, or like my maximum attack range, and still catch me. I don't know if I have the one boost that gives me extra damage against, like, per debuff on an enemy. Because if I do, great. If I don't, I really need that. Keep having to check my build because I don't check it often enough to know exactly what I've got going just yet. What else we can nice if the camera, like my guy actually followed the camera so I'd lock on easier. But the mission's done, thankfully. This bolt pistol's not worth it. Part because it's a bolt pistol. Alright, so now everything should still be the difficulty that it was. Ugh, that's gonna suck. 74. We'll take this one because this is the hardest of them.
Intelligence assets report several vulnerable cogitator stations in the area. Exact locations unknown. Tech priests predict moderate hostile presence.
Honestly, even the 74 shouldn't be as tough. And since I'll probably get a level up here soon, it'll be even easier. And I probably could have just held off, done the lower level missions, gotten myself the levels, so that the difficulty isn't nearly as bad. But I think that kind of takes away part of the fun and the challenge. And I also don't know how many missions that would realistically take. And it's like, what do? Bump up the difficulty a little bit and then just keep running, like, intels every 2 to 3 missions.
Point of entry established.
They still don't have it updated, so that we just have to stand by the cogitators. at least it's only, you know, 2 guys, 3 guys at a time.
Extraction complete. The harvested data is secure.
I really want to see how my assassin would handle
Locate next
like
station.
this whole setup, because I could sit there and put poison dots on a ton of enemies, and then it's like, would I heal off that or would I heal off the damage? Because if I heal off the dots, that's insane. If I just heal off the damage, I can still put a good amount of damage down very quickly. All in all, I think her survivability would spike immensely. Oh, okay, the mini-map. He's just lying to me. I was like, wait, I have to go this way? But no. I have to go around. It just happens to be as the crow flies that way.
Point of entry established. Harvesting data from compromised network. Warning. Hostile units inbound.
I mean, the range guys shouldn't be that bad, and anybody coming into melee burns. Yeah, I just apparently reflect damage to these guys so hard. Oh no, it was... Was it T-Bolt of Authority? I wasn't even really paying attention. I just kind of looked and they just went splat.
Locate other cogitator stations.
In the end, regardless, I'll take it. You know, dead's dead. Not gonna monkey around and be like, well, why? My why is shut up and be happy they're gone. Yeah, come here, gobblers. What sucks is when I switch to other characters and I don't have this aura, so I have to manually destroy boxes. And some characters just don't really have good means of doing that. Which really sucks, because I haven't been keeping count, but I know I've gotten a lot of good gear out of these boxes. You know, blow up a random crate and it's like, oh, here's a relic weapon. I may not use it, but it's the simple fact that I was given it. Ah! I was wondering why that rather large room existed. I have gotten my answer. Yeah, I think it's like a reflect. I must have it on something to make these guys just suddenly flop over dead. Because I know that increasing like AoE will visibly increase the AoE of this armor. Hey, Imperial Guard! I like the UI. Like, the UI change, I think, looks good.
Reconnaissance force relieved. Send basic. Follow and protect order to the survivors.
Yeah, that aura is just too good. I really hope we get something similar.
Spectral scanning revealed info fragments of high importance in close proximity.
Hope we get something similar for the
Blessed scanning
Battle
sites have
Sister,
been executed.
Sororitas.
Indicate essential info fragments, Inquisitor. Data has been inloaded.
Like, I need a good aura for her. I will go melee build if I have to. I do wonder, though, what they'll do next. Because they kind of screwed themselves by specifically being, you know, Inquisitor. If they had made it so it was just like, oh, any faction, you could get away with orcs or chaos, and you could do... I mean, in the end, a lot of them would be similar. Like, you'd have to just do Space Marine, and then you could specialize, like, oh, Plague Marine training, which would be your health. Or, like, Blessings of Nurgle, and you could do all these other things. Because otherwise, you're running into the fact that the differences between, like, a Rubric Marine and a Noise Marine, realistically, are not that big. Oh, we got the Decimator, we got a Psyker in there. Sorcerer Champion. Well, hopefully I can nuke down one of them, and then he just takes all of his Shadow Clone Jutsus with him. Man, they drop just crap. Money, sure. Oh, money's great, but I'd rather have gear. We'll check this last little nubbins over here. Nothing, not even a box. That's fine.
Accessing
Cover me,
hostile
guardsmen.
network. Data siphon protocols initiated. Warning, enemy response teams nearby. Prepare for contact.
Gotta turn back the flame aura. Can't have that turn off at any point. Okay, everybody dies now.
All data sermons are now in inquisitorial custody. Praise the Omnisire.
We don't have a lot of keys, but info fragments, we got almost all of them. So we're gonna know what stuff is what. And our end loot bonus is looking nasty. Okay, what are these? 71... What is it? Hunt... Callous Hunt... Hunt... Bunker busting, that'd be annoying. We're skipping. Level 77, I would need multiple levels to recoup the danger on that. And then another Callous Hunt. Okay. You know what, let's squeeze in... Yeah, we'll squeeze in a Hunt.
The very existence...
Alright, because I forgot to do this, we'll just toss some junk out. I always feel stupid doing this, but maybe I wouldn't feel so stupid if I didn't have to do this because I didn't pay attention. Oh, I still had some wiggle room. Regardless, I'd rather have more wiggle room then.
Of this filth defiles the Imperium. They may be great in numbers, but if we sever the head, the body will die. Kill their leaders and break their will.
Yeah, this is what I like to see. Oh, I saw a thing, it was an article that was like, oh, what kinds of games has 40K not done? They had like, I think a visual novel and city builder. And I sat there, I was like, yeah, they haven't had like a dedicated city builder. But I don't... Like, you could do something interesting like Frostpunk. But I don't really know how good it would be. And knowing 40K, a lot of the problems are going to be like, oh, Chaos Taint was detected in your Hab block or your Hab Spire. The Inquisition will now commence purging your entire Hab Spire. Good day. Population gets reset to 0. Oh, Chaos Cult has plunged the world into chaos. Exterminatus has been ordered. Thank you for playing. Like, there's a lot of instances where you're just getting screwed. And it doesn't... There's nothing to balance. It's not like, what is it? Tropico. Where it's like, oh, you gotta appease both the capitalists and the communists, or the communists might get butthurt. I always failed and had the communists cause a revolution. I just wouldn't listen to them. It was always like, "Wow, we want this thing." I'm like, maybe you should have thought of that before becoming a communist. So I was always terrible at that game. But yeah, I feel like a city builder wouldn't work. They had a couple other games, like genres that they touched on, and I was like, this, a platformer. And I couldn't wrap my mind around a 40K platformer. They had racing, which I will admit you could easily do a racing game. Just make it orcs. This is a freebie that Games Workshop can use. You call it Cult of Speed, and it's just about building like war wagons, and it's like Death Race. You race around, you know, you got your shooters and stuff opening fire, and whoever doesn't die in the process wins the race. I mean, that one literally makes it sell. The only problem is it's just gonna be orcs. Of course, you can have it mixed up, you know, different groups within the orcs get different things, you know, Bad Moon, and all of them have different, like, attachments they can get, or different things for their vehicles that you can typically find. I mean, there's definitely possibilities. It's honestly not that difficult to come up with something for that one. But, like, City Builder... Nah, City Builder, I think, is kind of a gameplay lost cause.
You severed the head. Now you can watch the body wander aimlessly.
Hey, I leveled up.
Withers and dies.
I just realized my meter rolled over. Alright, let's destroy everything. I noticed the time it takes to salvage everything has gotten a little longer. That's a two-handed staff, that goes bye-bye. See, that warp, or that poison effect is garbage. Everything else, damage bonus for AoE skills, ooh, that would have been perfect. Warp vulnerability on warp damage hit, also useful. But poison, yeah, I could have re-rolled it, but I don't know what I'd get out of it. I don't even know. Yeah, I think you can re-roll those. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.